We have an extremely exciting show, the 5 Habits of Closeness. So we're going to get to that in a minute. We do our recap, but I also wanted to read, I got a really cute thing from a student, whatever. Actually, it was a voicemail, and I transcribed it because it was so cute and whatever. I wished I could play it because it was just so bubbly and happy and whatever. Or it was a voice message or whatever to my email. Okay, here we go. This is from a lady from our Facebook show. Actually, she's probably on now. So hi, welcome. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sending me this thing. It really meant a lot to me. It says, got a message. Wait a second. It says, I've been married for 3 years. The second my husband walks in the door, I just want to tell him about my day and unload everything on him. And you are so right that it really makes a difference. If I just have a little bit of self-control and make it a pleasant experience. I'm going to say that again. Make it a pleasant experience for him to come home to, instead of a venting session, as if that's all he's good for, okay? So it's been amazing this past week how much better our night goes when I don't bombard him. Thank you, Ladies Talkshow. Yay. Okay, great. Nice. Okay. Isn't that cute? Sweet. Woohoo. Okay, so now, last week's show, we're going to do a recap. Last week's show, do we have control over our moods? So a couple of things we covered. One is if sometimes everything bothers us, like everything that's going on in the day, whatever, it's bugging us. This one did this, that one did that, whatever, it's bugging us. It's probably us. Take a nap, okay? That's what, okay? So that is when you're in a bad mood, everything looks grim and whatever. Check out your stress level. Check out what you're eating. Check out whether you've had a nap, whether you've slept well. Okay. We also talked about that student who had 3 kids who every night, no matter what she did, when her husband walked in the door, that was like her witching hour, like, she was screaming. She was very unhappy. And at that, every day, she was in a bad mood when her husband came home and treated him as such. So the issue is what she did. She ended up being in somebody else's house, and that lady had more than double the amount of kids that she had, and she just watched her. Like the stress was coming out, her oozing out of the walls of the house. It was so stressful and so much going on, so much flying. And her husband came home and she just snapped too. She didn't take it out on him. And just watching with her own eyes, seeing how that lady handled it helped her to give her strength to do it. And she could internalize that and be better about her moodiness. Okay. The tool of the day we learned from last week, if you remember, it was mood management. And that's what we covered. So the first thing we do for mood management is question, is this an internal thing that's going on in my head or an external thing? Is what's going on there making me moody and I need to sort of analyze that and fix the logistics of the situation? Or is it an internal problem where I've just got a bad attitude? I've woken up on the wrong side of the bed and it's me. So understanding that lets you do either fix the problem or introspect. And then we covered the tool of introspecting. Also, introspecting and just like analyzing that. The other issue was to learn for yourself. Every person watching this and listening, and you people on the teleconference, thank you for joining us. People on Facebook Live, thank you for joining us. And everybody here in the audience, thank you for joining us. But we have to learn bulletproof plan of how to manage our own moods. What we need to do to manage what works for us. So whether it's going for a bike ride, whether it's calling our mother, whether it's calling our sister, whether it's listening to music, whether it's going to the refrigerator, maybe don't do that one too much, but whatever it is that works for you, you need to have a bulletproof plan. Okay, fine. Some of the other tools for the mood management, let family members know that you're in a bad mood. That always helps. Like, I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed and I need help. And, don't take this personally. I'm not trying to take it out on you, but maybe give me a little distance because I don't want to be icky to you. Whatever, fine. Letting family members know. Okay, connect with someone just by letting them know. It take the pressure off yourself. So basically, if the tool of doing your hobby or sewing or running or doing something like that doesn't help you, then if you connect with somebody. That's often a good tool. Like you get on the phone with somebody, anybody, scroll through your chats, connect with somebody. That often helps. Sometimes when you're doing social media, if you're in a bad mood, that just will make you feel worse because you see them on vacation smiling in front of this, glamorous thing, whatever. They don't show you the 5 minutes before the photo was shot when everybody was screaming at everybody and somebody's hair was messed up and whatever. They don't show you the 5 minutes after that photo when someone says a comment that's not so nice, right? You're just seeing this beautiful thing. So as we know, that causes a lot of depression in the world or whatever, seeing everybody else happy, thrilled, and you are sitting there like, what is my life? Yeah. So if you're in a bad mood, that may not be the best tool, but connecting someone either verbally or in person or going to a neighbor's house or going outside your apartment building and looking in the mail and trying to run into a neighbor or going, whatever it is, connecting with somebody. That's another tool of managing your moves. Other thing we talked about is many women put themselves at the bottom of their priority list. So if you're feeling very moody, try and do something for yourself. Get your nails done, go for a walk. You can do inexpensive things. You can walk around a library and just kind of poke around the books. You can walk into a museum off and on for free. So there's a lot of stuff we can do to manage our own moods and take care of ourselves. We talked about making a gratitude journal. It was a packed show last week, okay? Mm-hmm. That's why it took 2 weeks, right? Wasn't that one of our classes? Yeah, it was a 2-week class. So the gratitude journal is a surefire way to both get you out of your bad mood, and sometimes you're not in the mood to write in a gratitude journal during, when you're in a bad mood. So do it when you're in a good mood, and then review it when you're in a bad mood. And then the last thing we talked about is Emunah, having faith in God that, whatever it is that you're dealing with right now, it'll get better or, it's all for a reason and there's a purpose behind it. And to try and mentally get yourself in a better mood just by introspecting about, it's very easy to look at our life and say, this doesn't work and that doesn't work. All the things, the gap between where we are and where we want to be, the gap between what things we want to have and what we have and what we want to have, those gaps, sometimes you can live in that space there and it's not very happy. If you can sit there and have Emunah that this is, I have everything that I need and start looking at the bright and I've got this and I've got that and I can breathe and I've got an outfit to wear, unless you don't have an outfit to wear, whatever it is, you can work on that. So that was basically our recap from Feeling Moody, our class. Thank you for the title over there. I appreciate that. After class last week, I said, what should I call it? She said, Feeling Moody. It's a great title. Leah's secret of the day from last week is we have a lot more control over our moods than we think we do. Okay? A lot more. It's not like this big gray cloud that plunks and we're just stuck with this gray cloud. We have a lot more control, and all of the tools we just learned can hopefully get you out of it. And the homework for the week, and now I'm going to be looking at you to give answers. Homework for the week was connect with someone when you're moody this week. So everyone's looking at Sarit.
No. What do you mean? They weren't moody. Nobody in this room
was moody but Sarit.
Nobody
okay,
had a
thank you.
Week, right?
There we go. Okay, so who has something they want to share? We'll go to you first. We're going to go to somebody else first. Go ahead. You went for a walk?
Yeah.
Something was irking. I went for a walk, and it was like the best thing I did.
Really? So first of all, can we analyze you a little? This is awesome. So this sounds like such a simple thing, ladies, but do you know how many times we think, I should go for a walk, and don't? Right. A million times that thought crosses our head. So when you were there, when did you notice you were in a bad mood?
Before the walk.
Before the walk. But I mean, did something happen, or are you just sitting there feeling kind of...
No, something happened. You get triggered, or, I don't know, someone said something not nice to you, or, just the buildup of the day, all these little ouches that are happening.
Little ouches that are happening. I love that. Isn't that really... That's like it. That's what we're dealing with on a daily basis. And the good news is, we're not alone. It's so nice to know that everybody else doesn't... you watch somebody, it looks like... whatever. It's like we all get these little ouches as the day goes on, and it's like that feels very cathartic to sort of feel like we're not in this alone.
And whatever, the kids are having their regions, and it's just like a whole...
Kids are having their regions?
Regions in New York.
Oh,
regions.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's finals, like final exams. Okay.
State exams is a region.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was very challenging, so but Baruch Hashem.
So you were in this bad mood, and then you had the thought, let me go for a walk.
So
this is what we want to learn from you. what translated from the thought, I want to go on a walk, I should go on a walk, it would be a great idea to go on a walk, to actually going on the walk? How did you get over that
To do it,
Mount
to
Kilimanjaro?
to actually just go and do it.
Yeah.
I just said I just want to be out. I want to see nature. I want to see Hashem.
So you enticed yourself out.
Yeah, go out. You'll see people, kids. Just you want to like change your surroundings to a different environment.
I get the pull. I don't understand how. Does anyone relate to what I'm talking about? Like you have the idea, it would be a good idea to go on a walk, but it doesn't happen? Am I like...
Also because like you're in the bad mood. Like it's not like now you're sitting here like, oh, it's easy to go on a walk, but you're in the bad mood. Like didn't you just feel like wallowing in it, you know?
Yeah, at times I do, but then I say to myself, Naomi, you're going to regret it. Get up and go for a walk. It's good exercise. You want for many benefits, many pluses. You want to look good. You want to feel good. You know, emotionally, physically.
I don't know how she... Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't understand how she gets over that hurdle. Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
Well, she could say to herself, either I'm going to explode if I stay home and take it out on somebody else, or I better get myself outside and start walking because that will make me feel better. And that she chose.
It helps. Like, you know, to breathe in the fresh air. And
Yeah, I would think that would be a fantastic... I mean, I would love if I could use that to get out of my bad mood. The problem is when I'm in a bad mood, the last thing, I'm not lacing my sneakers up.
Yeah.
Just going in and putting my sneakers on would make me annoyed or something. You know what I mean? Like I can't figure out how you got over that hurdle.
it's very difficult. Don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect. I'm not an angel, but there are times that's what I'm working on, is pushing myself to go do, even though your body doesn't want to do it, but you know it's the ultimate. It'll make you feel really good.
So let me ask you this: when you, because I know if a person were to go on a walk, right, and then like, and there's breeze and the trees are kind of doing this, and and it's lovely, and then you walk back in the house in the same exact circumstances that you left, it's still there. You know what I mean? It's like,
right. So that's what happened. I came home, the house is there, same situation, nothing
Did you
changed.
feel?
But I felt so good inside. I didn't go to the fridge to eat. You know, I went upstairs, took a nice bath, relaxed, and went to bed.
Wow.
I felt like I woke up.
Self-care.
I
That's
just
awesome.
was full of energy. I didn't even like go to whatever was bugging me. Like, who cares? You know what I
So
mean?
when you walked back in the house, the dark cloud didn't descend on you again?
No, I didn't. I'm like, no, Hashem's not going to. I brought Hashem into the picture. And no, we're not going there. It's all about refocusing.
God, I did this hishtadlus. I did this work of going out there, and I'm going to don't let me down now, kind of thing.
I'm like, that's it. I'm going for my walk. Came home knowing, I'm in such a better mood. I went walking with music, and it felt good. And now,
Ooh, wait a minute. You didn't tell that part. Walking with music. So what? Like you had like
my phone with my headphone.
With headphones.
Phone.
So you had like music that you liked, and you were going. See, that actually would entice me a little bit more.
Oh, it would?
I don't know that I would still do it, or be able to find music on my phone.
Right,
by the time I get out, yeah,
just
exactly.
ask your kids, they'll just do
Yeah,
it.
the kids.
My
There
kids
you
did
go.
okay.
So that's pretty good. So
it's
that
just like a whole change. You're around people and kids, just running around, and it was just a great park. Pan Pacific Park, it's great,
Mm-hmm. Oh, you went to a park. See, a lot of people don't have access to a park. That's So
yeah.
but even still walking in the
even in the
street and getting the neighborhood,
in the
walking
neighborhood.
window shopping maybe a little
Right,
bit.
going to the Grove is also
Yeah,
very good. It's therapeutic.
It's
It
therapeutic.
really is.
So first of all, thank you very much for sharing the thing,
Of course.
your homework, and I hope it gave us some ideas, getting over the hurdle. The whole thing is fantastic. It sounds great in theory, but for me, getting over that hurdle and getting my sneakers on and getting out the door, that is hard for me. Maybe I'll try music. So
Sitting home helps.
sitting home helps.
Does it really help you? I
Does
don't
sitting
know.
home help? That's a very good question. Now I'm on the psychiatrist's couch.
Yeah.
No, but I do other things. I actually get busy, and it's very interesting. 'Cause I have an aunt, Auntie Flo, who was lived with us till she was 103 years old. And I once came into her and I said, this is bothering me, and that's bothering me, and there's a million different things and whatever. I'm just so overwhelmed. And she said to me, Leah, this is like prophetic words when she said it. I was so mad that she said that. But she said to me, Leah, you are happiest when you're completely frenzied. I'm like, I was not happy with that answer, okay? And there's a seat over here, yeah. I was not happy with that answer. But over time, I'm like, she was so right. She was so right. When I don't have like 14,000 things. So what I usually end up doing, doing something, busy. I go through my to-do list and do something. But the walk would be much better, much more healthy. How do you get your sneakers on? Does anyone have any advice for me? How do you get your sneakers? Buy new sneakers. Okay. What'd you say? Go walk in my shoes.
That too is also good.
It doesn't have to be
You don't have your sneakers.
A real power
walking.
exercise.
Yeah. I think it's just she was able to breathe freshness into her perspective, and that's so just getting outside and changing your scenery sometimes is enough, even if it's around the block with some music. It'll be enough to when you're in something, like so often you see it on kids so clearly, like when they're in something, that's all we can
encompassing,
see.
yeah.
That's all we can see. That's like the beginning. And once you step out of it for even a second, you realize okay, it's not such a,
Okay, you guys listening, please email, text, or type in something Facebook. We want to hear from you. Comments about
about how they.
You're going to help me figure this out.
No, how they connect. But it's almost she
and the teleconference call in.
Right, but when she was moody, she didn't connect with. Well, I guess she connected with Hashem.
Well, you don't always have to connect. That was connecting. So connecting is one of the methods.
Right. Okay.
Another method is distraction, which is what she used to brighten her day.
Also knowing that it's going to pass.
Right.
Nothing is going to be here in an hour or 10 minutes from, later. It's going to pass. And it does.
Right.
That's good. That's very good. Okay, let's hear your homework. Does anyone else have homework? Homework. Connect with somebody when you're in a moody mood.
Right, connect with somebody or connect with
That
God.
was the homework. That was the homework. But
that's a great tip.
You can use any of the other tips.
Yeah.
This is just one of the tools.
People are not available.
Right. No, but it's almost like
I don't think it would be a very wise idea for me to connect with someone when I'm in a bad mood.
No. What the homework wasn't you're in a bad mood, so go pick up the phone and connect with somebody. It was
find your ways.
You're about to disconnect from somebody, like your husband is making you very annoyed, and you're going to be disconnecting, and instead you choose to say, no, I'm going to connect instead. I thought that was the homework.
That's
not that I did it.
That's good.
But I thought that was the homework. That when you're feeling like you just want to wring the person's neck, instead you go and you're like, I love you. And then I'll kill you after,
Right.
No, but the person says, "Stop with the phone." He stops.
That was my problem. That's my problem. That's why in this aspect.
Okay, so hold on. I want to address what you just said, which was
that she couldn't connect.
That when I'm in a bad mood. I mean, maybe if I was trying it once for the homework, I don't know, but maybe once and you'll do it. But for me, I would think, if I'm in a bad mood, I would be way better off taking a minute to myself.
But let's say you're in a bad mood, and you're sometimes you get in a bad mood that lasts like a few hours, or we wake up on Sunday morning or whatever, and we're just like, the dishes, or whatever it is, right? So it's and it goes on for a little bit. So now you go through your thing, and you call an auntie who lives by herself, an almana, a widow, and you call her and say, hi, how are you doing? And she just tell this, and then this one did, whatever, her bridge game, whatever her life is like, that you just connecting with a human being and doing an act of kindness in the midst of your bad mood. And then she's saying, she tells you all of her medical things, and then her knee, then she goes through the whole thing about her knee, then she goes through the whole thing about her elbow, or whatever it is. To listen to that is such an act of kindness. Mm-hmm. It's such although I have a friend, and she says, when you are getting together with a friend, you have one ailment per person per time together. So if you talk about your elbow hurting, you can't. You're done. You can't now go to you've been feeling weak lately, or your hair didn't work. Okay, so anyway, it's good rule of thumb. But anyway, for a person who's living alone, an older person, whatever, and you make that phone call, you're not necessarily sharing your bad mood. You're not saying, "Oh, I'm in a bad mood because my husband did this to me, or because I was applied for this thing and I was number one candidate and whatever, and I got bumped out from this other person who had an in for the family member, and I feel so slighted and whatever, and I'm in a rotten mood." I mean, calling to kvetch is fine. Kvetch, how do you translate kvetch? Whining, complaining, whatever. Calling to complain to people is completely fine as long as it's equal. Like in other words, if you have someone you're always kvetching, they're going to always be like, they're always like, "Oh, it's her again." It's got to be equal. You've got to listen to them kvetch also. Okay, just FYI. But in any case, calling someone when you're in a bad mood to tell them about why you're in a bad mood, that's also fine. But I'm not talking necessarily about that. I'm talking about connecting in any deep, meaningful way. And I say, "Hi, how's everything?" Whatever. If you hear somebody chit chat about the new car they bought and the new boat, it's not going to help you much. But if you call somebody who is going to confide in you or share, unload to you, that's a really nice thing to do, and it kind of snaps you out of your bad mood because they've got it worse than you. Okay, right. I'm not saying there's a reason for doing acts of kindness. A lot of times we think that we're doing an act of kindness to help somebody else. It always comes back to us, and if that means that it helps you see your life in more perspective, that's a good thing. Okay, let's hear your homework.
No, so I wasn't able to do it because I have a very hard time. I'm an open book. When I'm happy, you see it on my face. When I'm excited, you see it on my face. When I'm upset, you see it on my face. Everything just comes right out, and it's over the top. It's all extremes.
We know this, yes? We all know this. Like, hello, she's telling us news, huh? What did you say?
I said you never heard "fake it till you make it."
Well,
I mean, sometimes you just have to.
I know, but
fake it.
that's so it's very, and especially my husband. He's very sensitive, which I was saying is one of the qualities that we were saying. Find the positive to the negative, the negative to the positive. Yeah. Silver lining. So he's very sensitive. So he right away feels when something's bothering me or off, and then I have a hard time of connecting when I'm feeling that way, and then I'll try to not say anything, or I'll try to sort of go off by myself, and then I'm.
But couldn't you say I'm in such an icky mood? Don't take it personally.
No, then it really bothers him when I say that. It really bothers him. It hurts him. Like, what do you mean? What happened? What did I do? Did I do anything? He feels so bad, and I don't. So instead, I try to not say anything and just sort of whatever, and he totally picks up on it. And then, of course, I'm going off to the side, and I'm starting to whisper. Yeah, well, why don't you do that? Yeah, sure.
You mean you're talking to yourself?
I'm talking to myself, yes. Because I'm a very good listener to myself. I don't know.
Going on.
I have issues.
He's like, "What are you muttering over there?"
Right, exactly. Some very not nice things. All the things I would like to say that I'm not saying.
You totally put yourself in his position. You would also, like, if he went off to the corner and started muttering, you'd be like, "What's going on? Why are you upset?"
That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I have such a hard time with this, because when she's saying to connect when you're not feeling that way.
But I don't think you necessarily need to connect with him.
Oh,
I did
okay.
call like a sister.
Call me. Yeah, right?
Imagine how bad he would feel. Don't let him hear you say that. Like, "Oh, I'm just mad. I need to go call someone else right now." Like, not be good.
I'm going to call Chana. No.
You could say, "I'm going for I just need a walk to clear my head." And then get on the phone. Maybe that's what I should do.
Tell him that you're gonna go. That's very hard.
Sneakers, yeah.
But you don't have to tell him.
I know.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You don't have to say that, but
So
it's something that it's not so easy for me to.
Well, no, but I think you didn't necessarily have the instruction correctly. I think you meant connect with him, and it's like that would be really impossible if you did something that upset you to all of a sudden like be saying, "I love you, dear."
No, but you know what I was thinking when you were saying it, that for example, when you're sitting at the dinner table and you have no place to go, because if you're getting up and leaving, it's very evident that something's bothering you.
Right.
So you have no choice but either suck it up and say, "No, I'm not going to make an issue out of it." But
that's what we're learning today, by the way.
Okay, because my kids are looking at me, and my daughter is super intuitive, and she's like,
"What you gonna do?"
I know my mom.
What you gonna do
But
now?
it's like a lot of things. It's you can delay it.
Right,
Can you put it on pause?
Yeah.
Just to get through dinner, get through homework, and then
just
have
something
your
could
moment.
just You know,
It's
I mean,
mastery of our
stupid.
brain. That's a little bit what we're learning here is mastery of our emotions and
Letting our head
timing and
rule our heart.
using our head instead of our heart. Exactly. But I also want to tell you something very dramatic that happened this week that is kind of blowing my mind. I haven't quite processed it yet, but I was actually giving somebody a bracha. You know, everybody should try and give people brachas because blessings from God, can, in other words, if you tell somebody, I bless you with health, that carries huge weight in the spiritual world. We don't know what that has. So as much as you can, bless people, be blessed. We should all be blessed. Okay? Amen. So, but the issue was I was blessing somebody, whatever, and I said, and I had been, I don't know, I woke up in just annoying mood, just annoyed. And I kept trying to, I'm so cerebral that I'm like, okay, what's it about brain? How do you translate cerebral for people who don't know what's cerebral?
You were psychoanalyzing,
overanalyzing, trying to figure it out, blah, blah, blah. Not that I'm thinking people don't know what cerebral is, but it's just such a weird word. Okay, but anyway, so I'm sitting, I just had this yuck. So when I'm blessing this person, I said, and may you be blessed with feeling happy all the time or something. And they said, amen, but actually, it's a Western construct that we should always be happy. Right. He said, in the rest of the world, there are a lot of places in the world, and even there's a Torah concept, and he quoted somebody, but he didn't know who it was, so I don't know who it was, but they talked about how, moods are up and down for a reason. God created, he didn't create us like, he created it up and down, and you need to learn something from the ups, and you need to learn, life is up, like waves.
Up and down.
It's such a mind-altering thing because we live in the Western society where how many self-help books on there? How to be happy, how to enjoy life to the fullest. Right. It's huge.
Especially they're really big.
Depression. Yeah, because happiness is everything.
Depression.
What happened the last 2 weeks? My God.
Yeah, it's true. The suicides and depression, it's nutso.
A lot of people didn't know. People don't know. People don't know.
People who knew them didn't know that. One of them didn't know that they had an issue.
No one knows the pain that someone's walking around
because everyone's walking around.
No one's telling
woman
everybody all the time.
A woman like Kate
Right.
Yeah.
But she had a condition. She was bipolar.
But it doesn't matter. Nobody knows other people's lives and what they have because everyone's
but
walking
the point,
around faking it.
It's right. But the point is that we're meant to be up and down. And that this whole thing of you should be happy all the time, it even hoodwinked me into thinking that's now, not that if you're in a mood that you shouldn't work at getting over it and processing it and figuring it out and understanding why you're in that mood and, an introspection and looking at logistics. Maybe I need to, change this, or maybe I need to lower my expectations. There's a lot of ways we can improve our daily life. But to expect it to be, like that, it's a problem.
Okay.
So anyway, so your homework,
Yeah.
Where are we with
My
your
homework is to go for a walk.
Right, but so you're saying...
No. By the way, I could just see this. I'm coming home and I'm saying, Leah told me that I need to go for a walk.
Right.
So you take both little babies, you nurse Ashira, put him to bed, give him a bath. I'm going for a walk. Yeah, I don't think
That's
it's
it.
going to work.
It's not going to
but
work.
we'll-
So good.
That's why they invented
To a double stroller, get out the
your
door.
walk is harder.
Yeah, I don't think a walk's gonna work.
Yeah, the walk's not
Simi
going to work.
Monica get like text Naomi, where are you? I'm
Yeah,
coming.
exactly. Where are you? I need to go for a walk.
Where are you on your walk? Right.
My walking partner.
Circle Bayis.
Did you ever look at pictures of people from old pictures? Did you see people smiling with these big smiles on their face?
That's true.
They're not
people like
smiling.
this.
They're very serious because
I'm
life
like,
was
what is?
hard.
Why don't they? I always wondered, like the old fashioned.
But no, but I
Plastic
think
smiles.
that that was the ethos in those days. Not that I'm sure they smiled in real life, but for a photo, it was meant to be more formal.
No one was making kissy face when they took a picture. Like, isn't
Oh,
that weird?
Yeah, the kissy face that bugs me. I'm like, oh,
What is that?
yeah.
Yeah, I actually, by the way, byproduct of our world where we have to all
Wait, one combo, guys, because
a byproduct of our world where we
guys,
all
the
have
listeners can't. When you guys all talk separately, okay,
a
sorry, go.
byproduct of our world where we
I'm a school
all
marm, I forgot to tell
where
you.
we all have to pretend is this what you just said, this new kissy face. Like when I'm taking a picture, I tell these girls when I'm taking a picture of them, could you just smile?
Yeah.
Meaning, like, you don't have to do a whole
This is the
pose
kissy face you're talking
and
about.
a look.
This-
and, yeah,
you're talking about
oh,
this,
yeah,
right,
and a
okay,
duck
just in
face
case
and a
people
kissy
don't know what we're
face and
talking
a model face. And what is that?
yeah.
Just smile.
What's a mama face?
A model. It's a model face. They're trying to be
Models don't
like.
go like this.
Well, guess what? Yeah, because usually their cheeks are like that.
They have
No, but my point was that I just think it's cultural when they
Yeah,
weren't
cultural.
smiling and they.
Yeah, I think it was culture.
Oh, well, actually, because the reason why I didn't smile in a bunch of older photographs is because it took a while to actually take the picture with those old cameras. So to hold a smile for like a few minutes was very difficult. So it's easier to just.
Oh,
have
so
a
by the
straight-
time you're here,
that's
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, take the stupid picture. Yeah, and one of our tech guys, we do have guys on our Ladies Talk Show, one of our tech guy crew said that they weren't smiling because they had dead people in their family. Meaning back then, so many people in their family.
Yeah, it's
they-
one in
think they would
yeah.
have-
Oh, in the picture they had?
Not my family, but okay.
Wait, what do you mean? They had dead people?
Yeah,
on the photo? Like before they buried them?
Yeah. Oh, that's when they took the pictures.
Oh.
Okay,
That's-
see, look
I
at you.
got
Look what you learn. Look what you learn on the Ladies Talk Show.
You learned something. That's
Like
really
you don't
creepy.
know, when you see a picture now, also like you were saying, everyone's smiling.
too many
You don't know
combos.
what's really going on right there.
You don't
to
know, 100%.
So-
Gosh.
You don't know.
true.
And today,
Judging
just the
others,
opposite. Social
judge-
media shows everyone
Ooh,
looking like
let's get
they have
started
the
with
best.
today's.
Yeah.
Okay, we good?
Yes.
We get the
gonna
homework.
try.
Okay, let's start with the new topic. Oh my gosh. Okay, this one's actually going to go till next week because
Yeah,
this
good.
is
We'll double it.
We'll double it.
Part one.
Double your pleasure.
5
This
Habits of
is the
Closeness,
5
part 1.
Yeah, 5 habits of closeness. So here's the thing. So I'm going to start with a story, but I just want to say we all have our goals in life. We all have our aspirations, our material goals, our emotional goals, our relationship goals, our, where we want to get to. But there are many, many sources that talk about that the reason we are on the planet Earth is to be close to other people, especially our husbands. It's good news for some of you, not so good for others. No, that's Rabbi Tat's line. Okay. You mean from working on closeness? Yeah. You know what? It's a thing, right? Okay. So, but here's the thing. What we're going to be talking about today is the fact that there are times when that closeness just ain't happening. It's like you almost feel ripped asunder from your closeness with your husband. You're in a relationship and things are going swimmingly, and then he says something, does something, something happens or whatever, and suddenly you're just not close with him anymore. And I don't know why God put it in the world that there's closeness and farness and closeness and farthest. I have an inkling that maybe the separation makes the closeness all the more deep and sweet. We know that from our family purity laws and so forth. So there is a level of waxing and waning that's natural and beautiful and important. However, when there is artificial lack of closeness, meaning something, we want to be close, we want to get back to that closeness place, and we can't, that's what we're going to learn how to overcome today. Okay? Very good. Okay, let's start. Oh, I had these all nicely laid out for myself. Okay, fine. All right. So I have a student. Okay? Now, the student was the youngest of 5 children. She was the only girl. So her household was extremely competitive. You can imagine with 4 older brothers, like a Monopoly game. Winning that Monopoly game was serious business. So, right? So she grew up with these brothers. She knew how to hit a ball. She knew how to play Frisbee. She knew how to roller skate. I mean, boom. Basketball, thank you. Yeah, good. She's doing this thing. Yeah. A tomboy. This is what she learned, how to make it, how to survive in that kind of an environment. Now, on top of that, because we talked for quite some time and I was trying to get to the bottom of it, but it turns out there was a girl up the street who was a couple of years older than her, who was a real bully. So not only did she have all these brothers older than her that she was competing against, But she had this woman, a girl on the street who, like, there would be like teams for tag, and she wouldn't get picked for tag. Like, she would make sure that nobody else chose her for tag. She managed the rest of the people to make this girl's life miserable, and to either not get her on the team, or get her the lowly position. You can collect the balls or whatever it was. She said it was pretty awful bullying. In those days, she said they didn't have any word for bullying, and it was just like, well, you just grinned and bared it, or cried and bared it, whatever it is, the case may be. So fine. So you got the picture? Goes into marriage with a terrific guy or whatever, and I'll put it in her words. Hold on. She said, I walked into marriage with a low self-esteem, lack of trust, and a lack of trust in my husband's desire or ability to be close to me. So it's like, I didn't trust him. I just felt like, yeah. And sometimes when he did sweet and nice things for me, I'm like, what's he trying to get out of this? Because I guess that's what her brothers were nice to her, and so she'd make them cookies or whatever it was. She always felt like he had an ulterior motive. So she said that she'd interpret a lot of his actions in a negative light. He was, as if he was trying to one-up her all the time, or trying to do better than her, trying to compete with her. And that's just the makeup. And she didn't even see this as a dynamic, or as a dysfunctional dynamic, or that's just how she thought the world was. The other thing is, like, when he did something thoughtless, and BTW, just in case you thought like you're the only one who has a thoughtless husband. First of all, women are also thoughtless. Do you ever notice that? Like, it can also happen to women. Are men more thoughtless than women? Perhaps. I don't know. I haven't taken a poll lately. Maybe that'll be a new project. If anyone volunteers for that project, sign in below and let us know. But basically, women, when a husband is thoughtless, a woman gets all bent out of shape, like, it's a mistake. It's an error in thinking. It's an error in judgment. What's happening here? Someone star 6?
Yeah, no, that's,
Yeah, okay.
internal.
Yeah, doing something forgetful, or saying something not kind, or saying, I didn't really like this dinner as much as last night, or something, and the woman's like, oh my gosh, I just spent 45 minutes, like, or whatever, and I had a new recipe, and I Googled this and found that, and blah, 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 and, that was a thoughtless comment. You could have just said, you don't like this dish, please don't serve it again, or no, that would have been worse. Or not saying anything, or saying, something, I don't know, whatever. Guys are thoughtless, and listen, when you're living under the roof with somebody, stuff happens. That it just happens. That's it. You have no control. You have no control. And the other thing is, people say to me, I got along with everybody else until I got married. Well, were you living with them 24/7 and expecting them to take care of you, and you take care of them? And were your expectations that high? Were your, like that, like, hello, like, okay, so now it's difficult. Now it's really close. That's the opportunity for real closeness. Anyway, let's get back to her. So she was saying any time he did something thoughtless, she took it very personally and felt very badly about it. Anyway, her husband did not do very well with a wife who constantly thought the worst of him. No husband would, really. No husband is going to feel good about himself when a wife is always looking at you thinking, what did he did that again. And so he didn't do well with this. So it made him less motivated to try to please her. So it really is not a good situation. So, and the other thing she said is that, we discovered in the conversation, because she was saying, and he got more and more thoughtless. He wasn't more and more thoughtless as time went on, and as the years went on, more and more like seemed to disregard my feelings. And I'm like, could it be that when he was thoughtful, you did not appreciate it enough, or whatever, and he didn't get any credit at all? He got zero credit for being thoughtful. So why should he try? And she said, that could be true. She was very, lights, whatever, who cares? You can still see everything? We're still good? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. I think we're blowing the lights here with all this equipment.
No joke.
Okay. So this was a setup for a very, very challenging time for this couple to be close, yeah? You hear it? Okay. So my first question is, Are we still on? We're still live? Everything's good? Oh, good. Yay. Thank you. So I want to answer this in a general topic, and then we're going to get to this case in specific. What causes us, this is a whole class about closeness, right? How to bring our husband closer to us. What causes us to push our husbands away?
It's us. It could just be the outside world, the workforce.
Okay, that's good. So
Nice.
the logistics cause us to be...
Stress, worry, a lot of work to do.
I think there's more of a fear of intimacy. Or maybe she's afraid that if he really truly loved her, she wouldn't know what to do, how to deal with it. Because she's always thinking the worst. She's thinking he's being manipulative, he's got an agenda, that
Letting
there's...
her guard down, the vulnerability.
Yeah, she's
not
too
good enough.
vulnerable, she's
No,
afraid.
she doesn't know how to be vulnerable.
not
Making yourself
that
vulnerable.
I don't disagree. I don't think so. I think that it's just because she came with baggage. You can't come into marriage and think it's going to be fantastic. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But vulnerable is not. But vulnerable is not going to make a difference. She has to fit low self-esteem. She has to
She's
fix
not trusting.
low self-esteem.
She has zero trust.
Nothing her husband's ever going to do for her is going to fix what she's had years of baggage on. And I think that's what happens. So many people come into marriage thinking, I'm going to get married and all my problems are going to disappear because my husband is going to be my shining prince who's going to whisk me off my feet and we're going to ride into the moonlight. And that doesn't happen.
She said she's not letting him do that.
But because she
of
has
the baggage. Because of the
yes,
baggage,
correct.
it creates also fears, whether they're real or not real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We all have baggage.
Correct.
But
Yeah,
I'm
and I
just
wanted
saying,
I was going to say, we all have baggage.
all
Don't
have
think that
something
they...
that we carry
really?
around
I feel like baggage.
Their baggage with them.
A
yeah.
low self-esteem baggage is
example.
huge.
It is, but taking her example of the low self-esteem, and she has an issue with the trusting because everything. So if she would just learn that one idea of letting herself become vulnerable to him, and yes, there is a chance that he's bringing her the flowers because he wants her to make a nice dinner. It doesn't,
Whatever
it's a chance she's
whatever
going to
her-
have to take. Like there is a chance
Whatever her
that,
bad opinion of what
whatever
his
her
motives are.
misconstrued idea that was what's going to happen. Like her brother did that, so she misconstrued that. So there is a chance she's putting herself out there and she's being vulnerable, which is very hard in and of itself. That's like huge. But if she just focused on doing that, and she would see time and time again, because obviously she married a great guy and he was really trying to do nice things for her. It wasn't for the cookies. So if she would keep going on that route and do that, her self-esteem would automatically build. And so that's baggage that she came into, but it's not really something she can fix it on her own by being aware, but the only way she can really heal is by going into a healthy relationship and making herself vulnerable. And that's the hardest part, than making yourself vulnerable in a relationship.
Especially her. She had all these trust issues.
yeah.
She was saying straight out.
Yeah, and also, can you imagine being vulnerable with 4 older brothers who, she would die. So,
To do from her childhood, in order for her to take the
She
next
also has to realize
step.
that her brothers are not her husband. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is
exactly.
not a sibling rivalry.
those are
Like
the
a-
relationships.
the
Those are the
hu-
relationships
husband
that she
is not
had
gonna
that
bully
created
her.
this.
Very subconscious to her.
But she already, this is what a guy,
doing.
this is
It's just
right, this is subconscious.
how
This is
she's
what a guy
trained
is. This
her
is a
mind.
boy, he must be the same as my brothers. Oh, she has to realize that
She
he's
has to
not, and
work on it. It's
she
not
has
the
to work
same.
on, letting herself be vulnerable.
Is very important.
and the other issue that's really crucial here is the fact of her having introspection. And that's kind of why I'm using this example, because there's stuff that we bring, baggage we have, and emotional makeup that we bring into the marriage that predate our husband, and yet they're suffering because of it. And, obviously that's the way God wanted it, and he put us 2 together, and blah, blah, blah. But the work on introspection about understanding your own baggage and your own emotional makeup and your own lack of ability to be vulnerable is really, really the first step to being able to get a much deeper closeness.
I mean, I don't know. I'm curious if this is how the conversation went. I can't imagine you called you and said, listen, I came in with baggage because I have 4 other brothers, and this is why I'm this way. You helped her figure that out. So how do we all do that?
You're so...
Yeah.
You're not. She's not a shill in the audience. And I said, ask that question now. That was a great question. So it's actually very interesting that you asked that, because she called me actually to complain that her husband. That we did a show on moodiness, And she called me saying, and by the way, anyone who's listening on the Facebook Live or on the teleconference, if you need to speak with me personally, hopefully, if it doesn't get too much, I'm very open to that. Just go click on our website, www.ladiestalkshow.com, and then I think you go under Leah or something like that. You can just click there, and then you can meet with me. And I don't charge for that. I might have to, because Sarit's saying, no, you'll get inundated. But right now, yeah, right.
Well, what do you mean? She's already calling. She's like, when I need to talk, am I going to call you?
When I'm in a bad mood. Anyway, so she called me, and she said that she emailed me, and then I said, when's the best time to reach you? And then she gave me, whatever. Anyway, talked to her. So she called me because she said her husband is always moody. And she never, she's walking on eggshells, and she said, forget my being better at getting my mood up. How do I fix his moods? So then we started examining, and we talked about closeness, and we talked about what her, I usually ask, how's your parents' relationship? Because, whatever was going on there, somehow it trickles down. There's no avoiding it. And so, if someone says, oh, my parents were always at each other, so, okay, that informs a little bit of how their relationship's going to be and how they learn to deal with it. And frankly, I have news for you. I have met equal numbers of people who've had really rough childhoods, and because of their rough childhood, they are 10 times the mother, 10 times the wife. And I've met, so people break out of it, and people are a victim to it. So it's your choice. I tell the story. There's I'm going to give you this example because this is like, it can shift your whole thinking in who you are and how you represent yourself and how you allow yourself your own growth. We're all here trying to grow and to maximize our potential on the planet Earth, right? So this is one way of understanding interpretation. So you have these two girls, right? This girl here, parents got divorced when she's 13. This girl here, parents got divorced when she was 13. You meet with this lady, and you say, this is Lady A, and you say, she's now a lady, right? She's married. You say, listen, Lady A, your parents got divorced when you were 13. What was the result of that? And she'll say, oh, my parents got divorced when I was 13, and because of that, I realized you can never trust anybody. Mm-hmm. What you think is real isn't real. You can never trust anything. I said, oh, what else do you learn? The second thing I learned is because when you get a divorce, you better be financially stable on your own right, or you are going to be in the doghouse. The third thing I learned about my parents getting divorced is the fact that that I had better learn to rely on myself only. Fine. All reasonable things to come out of A's mouth, right? Very reasonable. And you feel for her and you get it. Let's go to person B. Hi, B. Okay. Hello. Okay. No. All right. So person B is here, and you turn to her and you say to person B, you say, your parents got divorced when you were 13. What did you learn from this? Oh my goodness, Leah, my parents divorced when I was 13, and because of their divorce, I learned I could survive anything. Really? What else did you learn? I also learned that you have to be very careful who you trust. And then when you finally trust them, put your whole heart in. And the third thing I learned was that the third thing I learned from the divorce is learn to communicate with other people. Like, I knew that was the most difficult time of my life, but I had an older sister, and we talked about everything. I mean, before that day, I thought life was, bicycles and cherry trees and whatever. And since then, I cried to my sister, my older sister. She was 4 years older than me, and we talked till 3 a.m. again and again and again. And I realized communication is a way to heal the heart. So because of that, that's what I learned from my parents' divorce. Now, I have a question for you ladies here, and anyone on, you can type it in on Facebook Live. Which lady do you want to be best friends with? Which lady do you want to go to Mount Kilimanjaro climbing a mountain for, that's going to, that you're going to depend on and feel like she's going to see the glass half full? Which lady do you want for a wife? So here is the makeup of these two people is, however you were created right now. I'm telling you, the the tool that I'm teaching you right now is interpreting your history in a way that empowers you, not makes you a victim. And that's you can do in your own mind. So we all have baggage. We all have issues that we came in with. Right? Take an interpretation of your history in a way that you come out strong. That's within your power to do. And that's why when I say you have these people who, we all have baggage, we all have disasters, and you see these people that come out with, like, they start telling you their childhood, and you're like, whoa, and here they are, this blossoming, blooming person who gets it. A person who's been through turmoil or dysfunctional family or trauma or difficulty, guess what? They're the ones who have real empathy. I'm not the other people can't, but I'm saying that they have a deeper level of intimacy, of insight into what someone's feeling. When someone says, my husband, he's just harsh with me. I don't know what to do about it. They're like, well, you should just tell him to stop being harsh. Somebody who's been through pain, it's like, that must be so hard. That must be so hard. So who knows how God orchestrates the world. We don't wish bad times or abuse or difficulty or challenges on anybody. But we do know that there is a way to be a victim and there's a way to be empowered. And this is where we want to head. If you can't get here by yourself, there's a million therapists, a million counselors, there's sisters, clergymen, rabbis, rebbitzins. There's people who you can go to work through that. But this is where we want to end up. I got off topic here.
Yeah, but more people are... it's very nice, the empowered person, but most people, majority, are taking their baggage and it's continuing on with them. And that is why they'll say, I never want to discipline like my parent, and then a few years in, they're going, oh my gosh, I'm totally my mother. Or I don't want to be like my parents.
Even the empowered woman might have some baggage with her. It's not all or nothing.
It's very hard to come out of that divorce empowered. It's not that's the norm.
Each situation, it's not like you come out. Obviously that person, she also has her baggage and she has her crying moments and she has her whatever. But if it's just that perspective of like, how can I learn something positive from this and rise up? Like we said, the silver lining.
For sure, but
exactly.
My parents were divorced at 13.
Right.
They have
correct,
but
the victim mentality is the world. The victim mentality is way more prevalent than the empowered mentality. I'm saying the reality of life is, as much as you can sit there and say, oh, sure, be empowered, when you come from a home where you saw a great marriage with your parents and you had a great example and you didn't have divorce and everything was wonderful, no matter what baggage you're going into marriage, you're not even close to what, and most of our world is, there's a reason why all our world has a victim mentality. People walk around with, I'm a victim.
So let's examine that. Let's examine that for a second.
Why?
What is the payoff for being a victim?
Yeah, you get attention.
Also, you're excused from everything.
But that's your fault.
Being responsible, taking responsibility.
Where how all these women are coming out now and saying how, oh my God, why wouldn't you feel so bad for me? Look what he did.
Right, everything. So that's the reality.
All these lawyers, and now this guy's going to jail.
Yeah, but they also don't take responsibility for the fact that they walked into, directors, whatever apartment or whatever, half naked or whatever they did. They have to take responsibility for their choices.
Here. Hello. So wait, let me just time out for a second. Hold on. This is very important. That's blaming the victim a little bit. Thank you. That's blaming the victim a little bit. So the issue is that no means no.
Right. Correct.
End of story.
Yeah.
No means no. However, from a horrible, horrible, horrible experience like this, the woman can have that ruin her future relationships with men or people. It can cause her to go into, and that's prevalent, and it rips your heart out. Or she can join a hotline helping people who were victims themselves. A person can, start an organization, to help, awareness for abuse victims. You can be that person. You can go through that and be that person. It's an empowered way to take a horrible situation. Or you can shrivel back and just never get therapy, never talk to anybody, never, there's the whole thing about going to court, whether going to court helps hurts. Now I think it's changed the
because everybody else
picture.
One person spoke up, so then everybody else decided they're like, you know what, they're not alone. So like it helped them because there was other people, so they all got together.
Yeah, which is a good thing. But anyways, let's make this clear. We're not blaming the victim in any way, shape, stretch, or imagination. I'm saying that whole idiom wrong, but you get my point. What we're trying to explain here is that you personally, the person listening, all of you here, the people on the teleconference, all of you in your own mind have to determine, am I going to be a victim to my circumstance, or am I going to be making the best of a bad situation? Am I going to empower other people with it? Am I going to work on myself? Am I going to get over this so that I can maximize my potential and my gift to the world? Every one of us, every one of you have unique gifts given to you by God, given to you, that you were not put here by accident, and the work that is needed from you, the work that you are uniquely capable of providing, the world needs. We need you to be at your best. We need all of us to maximize our talents and our skills and to work on our weaknesses. That's what we're here for. And one of the ways to do that is, you can just walk around and, one of the things is everyone's walking around feeling like a victim. Well, you know what? If you're the victim, you're right, they're wrong. That's a satisfying feeling. Does that make you stronger? Not really. Does that make you better able to relate to people or to get close to people? Not really. So the key to this whole issue is having the understanding and the introspection to be able to stand up and be strong in whatever cards that have been dealt to you in your life. And that's what we're working on. So I think we're...
we're down. We need to,
He's
we need to
me
give the homework.
or whatever. So I need to give homework. So we didn't get to the 5. I'm telling you the 5 secrets, habits of closeness can completely shift wherever you're standing in your life today to where you can be a week from now. So next week, stay tuned, 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for the Ladies Talkshow. I'm going to give you the homework. Oh, we didn't even get to the thing. How am I going to give homework on whatever?
No,
okay.
give it. Yeah.
So I'm going to give you, there's a little bit I'm going to change the homework a little bit. So first of all, and I can't give the secret of the day either because I didn't even get to it. Okay. All right. To understand, and somebody has to remind me of this because I'm going to forget it next week. To understand, to notice, your homework this week, to notice when you don't pull your husband close. To notice when you want to push your husband away. So this is going to be a week of introspection because you're going to notice this a lot. Like once like you see, you get a new car, whatever, you have a VW, then every car looks like a VW. This is one of those things. Like you will see, now I'm pushing him away. Now I'm pushing him away. Oh my gosh, I'm pushing him away. It will make you feel bad about yourself. Do not go there. When we're working on ourselves and we're noticing things that are challenging that we do, like when we work on anger, we will get there. When we work on anger, we're going to notice all the times we're angry. We're going to feel like so self-esteem through the, like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I really do snap or whatever it is. This is the same thing. Right now, you're just making note of it like a scientist walking into your home and checking off, oh, yes, oh, I see what makes me want to push him away. Feeling bad might motivate you to work on it, and that we'll be doing next week. We'll be working on it. But this week, I don't want you guys all coming in bad moods because you spent the week noticing how much we push our husbands away, because it is normal and natural to push our husbands away, and what we're going to be working on next week is how to draw them closer to us instead of pushing them away. It'll be very helpful if it's not some theory about pushing them away, but you've actually seen examples between this week and next week. That's our homework. This is the Ladies Talk Show with your host, Leah Richeimer. Thank you so much for joining us. Please, all of you guys on Facebook Live, please post comments there. Apparently that ups our engagement, whatever my millennials are telling me. No, so please post below. Say, I like the show was great, or I didn't like the show, and, whatever. No, don't say you didn't. You can do whatever you want. Do what you want. But anyway, and teleconference, look forward to seeing you next week. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. See you next week. Be well.